Power your house with your car. Did you know that some vehicles have generators built in? Think of when the power grid goes out and because your appliances are off, you can't stay warm and your groceries can't stay cold. What do you do in that instance? Traditionally, homeowners that have a gas generator can temporarily power specific appliances during outages. What if we told you that it's now possible to power your entire home with just your car? Welcome back to AutoTech, and today, we're talking about how some modern electric vehicles can power your entire house. Many vehicles already have an inverter built in, so devices that use a traditional house plug can be used. But alas, it's only 100 watts, only having enough power to charge things such as a laptop. Nowadays, however, some electric vehicles such as the Rivian and F-150 Lightning can output enough power from multiple devices and appliances. EVs appeal to different customers in different ways. Some buyers of electric vehicles want to help protect the environment, while others want to save money on gasoline or try out the latest technology. In areas like California and Texas that have endured large weather-related power failures in recent years, consumers are beginning to assess EVs in a modern way, as a potential electricity source when the lights go out. Ford has made backup power a selling point of its electric F-150 Lightning pickup truck. Ford says the truck can fully power an average house for 3 days on a single charge. Electric vehicles to the rescue. Electric vehicles are essentially batteries on wheels. You can store energy in those batteries, and if EVs are equipped with something called vehicle-to-grid or vehicle-to-home technology, they can also be used to keep the lights on in emergencies. The technology allows the energy being stored in an EV battery to be pushed back into the grid or into buildings to provide power. Electric car batteries can hold approximately 60 kilowatt hours of energy, enough to provide backup power to an average U.S. household for around 2 days. Larger electric vehicles like buses and trucks have even bigger batteries and can provide more power. The American company Proterra produces electric buses that can store up to 660 kilowatt hours of energy. Electric garbage trucks and even big rigs with bigger batteries are becoming a reality too. If equipped with vehicle-to-grid or vehicle-to-home technology, those cars, buses, and trucks could be game-changing during future blackouts. People could rely on their cars to power their houses. Municipalities, transit agencies, and school districts could also send out their fleets to the areas most in need. Current hurdles in using EVs to power houses. At the moment, the technology is still developing. The vast majority of EVs currently on the road do not have this capability, and utilities would need regulatory approval before bringing it to scale. Regardless, if done right, it could be a great opportunity. To support the widespread adoption of electric vehicles, the charging infrastructure needs to be invested in as it's necessary to accommodate explosive growth. We also need to make sure that as EV adoption increases, the vehicle and infrastructure are set up to use the power transfer technology. Already, Nissan does this with its Leaf-to-Home system. Proterra offers transit buses equipped with the technology. Dominion Energy in Virginia is working with school bus manufacturers to develop and operationalize a large-scale school bus vehicle-to-grid program. To standardize the technology and make it accessible to everyone, utilities should seek regulatory approval to implement programs and invest in vehicle-to-grid capable infrastructure. And automakers should make it easy for consumers to install chargers that can send power both ways. Once that's put in place, governments at all levels should work to incorporate electric vehicles into their emergency response plans. Hospitals, shelters, emergency response centers, and other buildings critical to crisis management should be equipped with the infrastructure necessary to pull power from EVs. Heavy-duty fleets like buses and trucks present particularly promising opportunities to provide power to people in need. With more EVs on the road and with careful planning and preparation put in place, we could have millions of mobile batteries available to help keep the power on during emergencies. The basics of V2H. The biggest factors involved in an EV to power a home are the size of the vehicle's battery and whether it's set up for bidirectional charging. There are two ways to judge how big a battery is. The first is the total amount of electric fuel stored in the battery. This is the most widely publicized number from EV manufacturers because it determines how far the car can drive. Batteries for electric sedans like the Tesla Model S or Nissan Leaf might be able to store 80 to 100 kilowatt hours of electric fuel. For instance, 1 kilowatt hour is enough energy to power a typical refrigerator for 5 hours. A typical US home uses around 30 kilowatt hours per day. Largely, this depends on the size and which appliances people use. Making a smart choice using your vehicle as a generator. Just by having the right car in the driveway, you can keep your entire house warm for 50 to 70 hours powering by your furnace and run your fridge, internet, and TV. This all comes without the problem of maintaining a gas generator, hoping it will start when you need it most. Storing power when it's cheaper. A limited number of EVs on the market now are compatible with V2H, including the Ford Lightning, Nissan Leaf, and Mitsubishi Outlander. General Motors and Pacific Gas and Electric plan to test V2H charging in California in mid-2022 using multiple GM electric vehicles. Some homeowners might hope to use their vehicle for utility planners call peak shaving, drawing household power from their EV during the day instead of relying on the grid, thus reducing their electricity purchases during peak demand hours. To do this, they might need to install special metering equipment that can control both the discharging of the vehicle battery and the flow of power from the grid to the house. Utilities and the future of V2H. While vehicle-to-home capabilities exist now, it will likely be a little while before we see widespread adoption. The market for V2H-compatible electric vehicles will need to grow, and the cost of vehicle-to-home chargers and other equipment will need to come down. As with Tesla's Powerwall, the biggest market for V2H will probably be homeowners who want backup power for when the grid fails, but don't want to invest in a special generator just for that purpose. Enabling homeowners to use their vehicle as a backup when the power grid goes down would reduce the social impacts of large-scale blackouts. It would also give utilities more time to restore service when there's substantial damage to power poles and wires. Do you think vehicle-to-home technology is the future of how we handle power outages? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to get weekly updates on all things EV. Until next time, thanks for watching Autotech.